Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're unlocking some of the most fascinating and, let's be real, absolutely terrifying psychology behind human behavior in the workplace. We're going to break down these complex, toxic traits into clear steps so you can understand the hidden dynamics at play and spot exactly who you're dealing with before it's too late. So grab your mental notepads because we are diving deep into the minds of master manipulators. So I want you to picture someone specific right now. Have you ever worked with a toxic teammate? Maybe in a university group project or at the office? Someone who seemed perfectly normal, maybe even super charming at first, but then week by week, they slowly turned the entire environment totally toxic. Get their face in your mind right now, because today, we're going to explain the exact psychological machinery behind why they act that way and how they operate without feeling a single shred of guilt. Here is our agenda for today. 1. Decoding the dark triad. 2. Machiavellianism, master manipulator. 3. Narcissism, entitled ruler. 4. Psychopathy, emotionless competitor. And 5. Safeguarding your peace. Let's jump right into part 1, decoding the dark triad and its threat to workplace culture. Part 2, Machiavellianism, the master manipulator. Before we define this first trait, let's set the stage a bit. In psychology, extreme toxic behaviors aren't just, random acts of someone having a bad day. They actually stem from a specific group of traits known as the dark triad. Now, while these aren't necessarily clinical diagnoses you'd find in a medical chart, people who score high in these areas can absolutely devastate a team. The first of these traits is Machiavellianism. Named after the 16th century Italian diplomat Niccolo Machiavelli, individuals high in this trait are intensely pragmatic and emotionally distant. To them, life isn't some collaborative journey, it's a giant, highly competitive game of chess. Other people are merely pawns to be moved around. They absolutely thrive in face-to-face environments where rules are kind of vague and where emotional distractions abound. The ends justify the means. You've probably heard that quote before, right? Well, that famous philosophy perfectly captures their entire core strategy. It literally does not matter who gets hurt, who gets thrown under the bus, or what rules are bent, just as long as they get what they want. They're totally immune to emotional persuasion, but they are expert persuaders themselves. They just don't feel that internal friction that you and I feel when we take advantage of a friend. To them, it's strictly strategy. Let's make this concrete with a little interactive case study. Meet Alex, the corporate politician. He scores exceptionally high in Machiavellianism. Let's say a major, high-stakes project gets assigned to his team. But Alex, he is a total ghost when it comes to the actual work. He dodges the heavy lifting, skips the late-night coding sessions, entirely avoids the dense spreadsheets, and always has a brilliantly crafted excuse when the tedious data analysis happens. Now pause for a second. Think about this. Why do you think Alex, who contributed absolutely none of the hard analytical work, eagerly volunteers to do the final presentation to the CEO? Take 3 seconds to lock in your answer right now. Think about the chess pieces. Okay, here's his winning strategy. Alex expertly spots the most empathetic, hardworking person in the room, his teammate, Sarah. Empathetic people are essentially giant targets for this type. He uses emotional manipulation, telling her, "Sarah, you're easily the smartest person here. The team's success rests entirely on your shoulders." Naturally, Sarah feels valued, stays up late, and does all the hard work. Then, Alex steps up to present with this incredibly confident, charming smile. He subtly frames the success as his own strategic vision, completely stealing the credit while Sarah is left exhausted on the sidelines. And because Alex views human interactions purely as transactions, he feels zero guilt watching Sarah burn out. In his mind, he simply played the best move, and he won. Moving on to part 3, Narcissism, the entitled ruler. Named after Narcissus, the Greek myth guy who fell head over heels in love with his own reflection, narcissism characterizes individuals who are arrogant, entitled, and profoundly self-important. They have this insatiable, endless need for excessive admiration. But unlike our calculating chess player who manipulates for a practical payoff, the narcissist manipulates because they genuinely believe they are naturally superior to everyone else in the room. They feel they inherently deserve special treatment. Let's bring this to life with another example. Meet David, the spotlight hogger. He's a marketing manager who scores off the charts in narcissism. At first glance, his massive outward confidence makes him look like a fantastic leader. He speaks loudly, dresses perfectly, and commands the room. But ironically, that exact same ego makes him an absolute nightmare for any actual collaborative work.
If you break down David's meeting time, a staggering 80% is spent aggressively talking about his past achievements and pushing his own supposedly genius ideas. Only 20% of the time is he even remotely listening to data-driven approaches from his team. Actually, scratch that. It's not an accident. It's a structural necessity for his ego. Listening to others requires admitting he doesn't have all the answers, which would completely shatter his fragile self-image. If someone proposes a better idea, David doesn't see it as teamwork. No way. He takes it as a direct, personal insult. So what happens when a project led by David inevitably fails? If it succeeds, he demands a standing ovation, obviously, but when it fails, he instantly turns on his team. He claims they simply lacked the talent to execute his flawless vision. He will always prioritize protecting his ego over achieving actual business results. The fallout from this? Team morale absolutely tanks, trust is fundamentally broken, and future collaboration completely grinds to a halt.
All right, part 4, psychopathy, the emotionless competitor.
When we hear the word psychopathy, our brains usually jump straight to horror movie villains or true crime explainers. But in the corporate world, it manifests in everyday people. Psychopathy involves a severe lack of concern for others, a total absence of empathy, and literally zero guilt or remorse when causing emotional or financial harm to a coworker. These aren't monsters hiding in the shadows. They're individuals walking the halls of your office entirely unburdened by human empathy.
Let's contrast an ordinary employee with someone high in these traits. For most of us, we have built-in emotional guardrails, right? We have guilt, remorse, empathy. If we make a mistake that hurts a colleague, it bothers us. But people high in psychopathy lack those guardrails entirely. They can lie straight to your face, actively sabotage your career, destroy a colleague's hard-earned reputation, and they will sleep perfectly soundly that exact same night.
Here is our final interactive case study. Meet Elena, the cold saboteur. She's competing against her coworker Michael for a highly coveted promotion. Elena exhibits high psychopathic traits at work, meaning she is cold, highly calculated, and deeply toxic.
I want to challenge you one last time to think critically here. How does Elena guarantee her promotion? A normal, healthy, competitive employee might just stay late or try to outwork Michael. What does the cold saboteur do? Think about it for a second.
Elena doesn't just try to work harder. She actively seeks to destroy him. She quietly misplaces the crucial server files Michael desperately needs for his final presentation. And she doesn't stop there. She spreads subtle, malicious rumors to upper management, whispering that Michael is struggling with his mental health. And the most terrifying part? When Michael faces a harsh reprimand and loses the promotion, Elena watches his distress with total, chilling emotional detachment. She feels absolutely no sympathy. To her, Michael wasn't a human being. He was merely an obstacle standing in a spot she wanted. Removing him was just pure logic.
Which brings us to part 5, safeguarding your peace.
Pretty chilling stuff, isn't it? But knowledge is power, and you are no longer in the dark. Let's do a quick breakdown of our defense. Machiavellians are motivated by strategic manipulation, and they exploit weak rules. Narcissists need constant praise and will happily destroy team collaboration to protect their ego. And psychopaths use emotionless sabotage, leaving a literal wake of destruction behind them. Recognizing these core motivations is absolutely crucial. It's your very first line of defense.
So here is your defensive toolkit. Step 1, recognize the warning signs early. If someone is super charming but never does the actual work, pay attention. Step 2, set incredibly firm boundaries. Don't let a Machiavellian flatter you into doing their job, and don't feed a narcissist's endless need for validation. And step 3, rigorously document your work. Keep detailed paper trails, save those emails, and back up your files. An undeniable paper trail is your absolute best armor against a manipulator trying to steal your credit or quietly misplace your hard work. I want to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on. Look around your workspace today. Evaluate your group projects or your current office team. Are you unknowingly working with a master manipulator right now? Protect your peace, stay fiercely vigilant. And hey, if this explainer opened your eyes and helped you learn something new, make sure to like and subscribe to keep mastering the hidden dynamics of human behavior. Keep learning, and we'll see you in the next explainer.